Good afternoon, this is Terry from The Frugal Connection. I want to welcome you to my kitchen today. I am in the process of prepping some vegetables to make a soup for dinner tonight. And I want to invite you along with me while I make this. But instead of doing my normal video, which is actually putting together a recipe and walking you through all of that, I just want to have a little chat with you today instead. And the reason I'm doing that is back in July of 2023, I came to the conclusion that I was not happy with the way I looked. I was 80 pounds overweight. I had a number of health issues, and I knew that I needed to make a change. And so I worked really hard. I began a plant-based whole food diet. I cut out sugar, processed foods. I cut out oils, a lot of the salt intake that I was having. And I was able to lose 73 pounds, as well as get off my high blood pressure medicine, reverse non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. I reversed the gallbladder issues I was having, and I felt great. But what has happened over this past few months with the holidays, and I can't even really blame the holidays, it started back in the fall, is just that here or there I would sample something that I normally don't eat. And when the holidays hit, it was definitely things that contained sugar. And I got on the scale the other day, and I realized that over the past, I'd say the past two to 3 months, that I put back on 10 pounds of the 73 that I had initially lost. And oh my goodness, that was like a wake-up call. It was a great reminder to me to get back on track with my eating habits and to stay the course with good nutrition. But it was also a reminder to me to remember the why behind eating plant-based whole foods. And so I thought that today, as I prep these vegetables, as I peel and chop and all those things, that I would share with you my whys and encourage you to find out, to figure out what your whys are as you transition to eating plant-based whole foods, or transition to getting rid of sugar, getting rid of processed foods. Because if you don't know your why, it's going to be really hard when you find yourself in situations where you're being tempted. Now, as I mentioned, over the holidays, what started happening was I was allowing sugar to creep back into my diet on an almost daily basis. And it really only took a few days, maybe a week, when all of a sudden I noticed I was craving sugar every day. Like about the same time each day, I would say, oh, I want something sweet. And when a piece of fruit used to satisfy that craving, I found that that was not enough. Like, I wanted things that had sugar in it, whether it was a cookie or a brownie or a piece of candy, whatever it might be. I just realized that it re-triggered those receptors in my brain that spike that dopamine hit that you get when you eat things that flood into your bloodstream immediately. And those things are always wrapped up with sugar, salt, and oil, and often all three together. And that's why we crave them. So I just realized that I need to get back on track. These are my whys behind eating this way. Yours may look totally different. You may have different reasons for wanting to change your diet, to eat healthy, to add more plants, more vegetables, more fruits, more whole grains, beans, legumes, tofu, back into your diet. So these are my whys behind eating plant-based whole food. The first why is my health. When I started eating this way, like I mentioned, I was 80 pounds overweight. I had gallbladder issues. I had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, high blood pressure. I had tingling in my fingers. I had all sorts of knee issues. You know, I was dealing with a bunch of stuff. I had watched in 2020, my mother passed away from cervical cancer, and it was a terrible way that she died. She had a tumor that basically blocked off her entire GI tract, and so she was unable to eat or drink for the last few weeks before she passed. And I just watched that, and it was just terrible. And I certainly didn't want to go that way. Once I dropped the weight, all of those health problems went away. I mean, within, I'd say 2 months, 3 months of eating plant-based whole food, my blood pressure was back to normal. My doctor gave me permission to get off the blood pressure medicine, and just, you know, he wanted to keep an eye on it just to make sure. And my blood pressure has been normal ever since. I no longer had the tingling in my fingers. You know, all those health problems that I was having were reversed. And I want to make sure that I'm doing everything I can do to be healthy, keeping that in mind, that my health is important to me, and remembering where I came from and not wanting to go back there again is one of the whys that I have behind eating this way. Friends, I apologize. My camera cut out in the middle of number 2. But my second reason for eating a plant-based whole food diet is that I have so much more energy. I've always had quite a bit of energy, the ability to do many things. But when I lost all of the weight, I found that I had this just overwhelmingly abounding energy. And I want to do all the things that God has given me to do. And I know that I cannot do that if I'm lethargic, if I'm tired all the time, if I have no energy to do those things. My third why behind eating this way is that I want to be the best version of myself that I can be. And I believe that God has given me a task or tasks to do on this earth. And I want to do those things to the best of my ability. And that means that I need to be the best version of me that I can be. I can't do that when I feel terrible about how I look, or I just remember just being embarrassed to go places because I knew that I didn't look good. I knew I was overweight. I looked overweight. My clothing didn't fit right. I just didn't feel good. And I can't do the tasks that God has given me to do if I'm in such poor health that I'm cutting my life short. I want to do all the things that the Lord has given me to do, and I want to do them well, and I want to do them for as long as He has me do them. The fourth reason I eat a plant-based whole food diet is that I find that it's a simple and nutritious way to eat. I find that I spend only a few minutes in the kitchen each day preparing healthy and nutritious meals. They aren't boring. I love to cook, first of all. So, I mean, I would like this no matter whatever way I ate. I love adventure. I love trying new things. And these meals that I'm making, they're not boring. They're not just salads. I do eat a salad every day, but I don't just eat salad. I eat a lot of variety. There are so many plants and vegetables out there. There are so many different kinds of whole grains. There's so many different beans and legumes. And I just have fun creating new recipes. And I also know that the food I'm putting into my body is nutritious and it's not causing me harm. The fifth reason that I eat plant-based whole food is that I find that it's cheaper. You know, so many people tell me, oh, it's so expensive to eat that way, and it really is not, because the reality is I am not buying all the processed vegan food. If you go to a health food store or you go to the vegan section of your grocery store, there is a lot of processed junk there as well. And I don't buy those things. What I'm buying is in the vegetable section. I buy fruit. I buy some whole grains. I buy beans and legumes. All those things are extremely inexpensive. And my food bill actually went down when I started eating this way. Now, this meal that I'm cooking right now is it's a vegetable soup that it contains onions, garlic, celery, leeks, fennel, potatoes, carrots, green cabbage, and that's it. Some salt and pepper. And I'm going to be adding in some white cannellini beans for my protein. So many people think it is so much money, but all these things are so much less. They're less money than buying dairy products, than buying meat, you know, all the things that are animal based. And I just find that it's so much cheaper. So the reason I shared this with you today is because it is helpful to remember the why behind anything you do. Because if you don't remember your why, it is going to be really hard to stick with it when you're around friends and family who are eating all the things that you know you don't want to eat. Or when someone's pressuring you, or you know, you don't want to put somebody out, so it's easier just to give in and eat what they have. And I just find for myself that when I remember why am I doing this, it also makes it easier when most people are very respectful, at least in my life. They don't, they're not shoving it, trying to force me to eat something. But they might offer it, or they might say, oh, one little bite won't hurt you. And so I can communicate to them, no, I'm going to stick with what I'm eating right now, and this is why. And I just think that that's half the battle. Because if you don't really understand why you're doing it, or you don't remember why you're doing it, it's going to be really difficult to stick with it. So I just want to encourage you today, wherever you are on this journey, you may be years into this and it's not a big deal, but you may just be starting. And if you're just starting, it is helpful to write out your reasons. Write out all the reasons that you're doing this so that you are ready to face whatever situation you're in whenever you're in. I hope you're having a great day. I just wanted to encourage you as you start your plant-based whole food journey that you just understand in your mind, in your heart, why you're doing it. And it'll be half the battle right there. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.